Good afternoon, I am Dr. Durafly, alias Dr. Chudley on the forums, and this is my Lancaster, the Hobby King Lancaster, which has been flying very nicely for most of this year. It's now had about 20 flights. I use Multiplex Raw Pro and an Overlander 2200 3S battery 60C to ensure that I get plenty of amps at all times. I'm now going to put the battery in the model and show you the differential working on the transmitter, and you will see I have two kitchen scales under each wheel, and the rear of the plane at flying attitude with the wheel underneath the book. The book is the complete works of Shakespeare. What I'm going to show you now on the multiplex transmitter, if you looked at channel 3, you'll see a small amount of rudder, and this rudder, if you see, is mixed with channels 4 and 7, which are the two throttle channels. So if I open, give it a few revs, you'll see channel 4 and 7. Now if we look at the model, that is the differential throttle that I use in lieu of rudders. That is a full rate rudder, but for normal flying this is quite adequate. There is a 40% less mix, and as I've now got it set up on the scales and the works of Shakespeare, put the model back on the scales. Both scales are now showing 62.5 grams, well 62.4. We won't argue about a gram. I'll now open up the throttles. Well, they were both varying a bit on the scales, but not as much as I would have expected. Just going down to below 60, I will try it again. Well, with the repeated tests, I'm getting 2 to 3 grams of difference, 2 to 3 grams on each scale. So added up, we can say we've got 5 to 6 grams of static lift at full power with the model restrained. So there's not as much as I'd have expected. So, but 5 or 6 grams on a landing approach is enough to make the model slow up significantly when the engines are cut, and also losing that lift as well, even though this model is fitted with 22.5 degrees of static flap. Well, while I'm here, I will show you the rest of the controls in their normal flying mode. So the rudder you've seen on the throttles, rudder on the throttles, aileron, that is the normal low rate aileron. If I go to high rate aileron, that's as much as I use. But low rate is adequate for all normal flying, and if you look carefully you will see I've got more up and down. This is the differential throttle, exactly how, if I change the camera, sorry about the wobble, by angling the horns forwards, that is 60% aileron, this is 100% aileron, to give differential. Up, down, to prevent adverse yaw. While we're here, my normal elevator movement is maximum up, maximum down. Up, down. I've only used full elevator, that much, trying to spin it. And it will spin with a bit of throttle assistance. And the differential throttle helps it recover immediately. But for normal takeoffs, landings, that elevator is quite sufficient. And for ordinary flying, that amount of aileron is quite sufficient. And with the throttles again, that'd be cruising throttle. And even at static, nothing happens until I give a couple of clicks of throttle. That's 2 clicks of throttle and one will start up. But for taxiing, you've normally got that much anyway. So there you have it. The control setup with differential throttles on my Lancaster with flaps, and small amounts of aileron and elevator, and it flies beautifully, almost like a trainer model. Thank you very much indeed. Happy landings.